Hi everyone, and welcome to my review of the KBear Aurora. As some of you might know, there's those of you that follow me already for a while, I was unfortunate with regards to the Aurora initially because I ordered it and I actually ordered it early and I was all excited because I was kind of foreseeing I would probably be one of the first people to hear it. But unfortunately, when my Auroras arrived, I unpackaged everything and wrapped. The Auroras themselves were not in there. Everything else was the full accessory package, everything, but no earphones, unfortunately. However, and this is where I want to give praise to both Hi-Fi Go and KBear as companies. KBear as the manufacturer, obviously, and Hi-Fi Go as the seller. Their professionalism was second to none, and I highly recommend Hi-Fi Go. I mean, I've been a client already for a while, but I recommend them more and more. And this was proof of their ability to really stand by their customers and help them out. They resolved the problem with no issues. They were able to ascertain that the weight that the box had when it was sent and the weight that the box should have were different, and thus explaining the missing earphones. And like I said, it must have happened at the factory level just before the final wrapping was done, because I took the wrapping off everything, and so whoever took them was at the factory, and well, yeah, has himself a nice pair of earphones, I guess, and I was left without ones. But alas, it was resolved, and that's what the most important thing, and that's what counts. So my praise to both Hi-Fi Go and KBear and their staff, which were, as I said, exemplary. I mean, I have really nothing else to say. This is what, when I sometimes rant about customer service and this and that, and Chi-Fi and lacking in that department, this was a perfect example of a company that wants to be serious, wants to be taken serious, stands by their clients, and a seller, in this case Hi-Fi Go, that does exactly the same thing. Anyway, on to what matters, which is the Aurora. I'm not going to bore you with the packaging. I mean, it brings the normal KBear case that we have. It brings a nice cable, actually. It's this cable here, which I'm actually using on my TRNV X7, sorry. It's a nice cable, a little bit on the plastic in terms of the feel of it, but nice. I like the accessories on it though. Let me just show you again. Black accessories, very nice. Gives it a very dark, glassy kind of sense. Really enjoyed that. And the tips I'm using are the tips that were included, which actually are the ones that I use a lot of the times because they work wonders with me. Let me just quickly actually show you the IEMs themselves. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful IEMs. Apparently they were 3D printed cavity, to really get the best out of the sound. They got a biggish nozzle, which is good and bad. I mean, it can be good in the sense that will help out with the sound, bad in the sense that it could be a little bit obtrusive and not everybody will like that sensation of having their ear canals being expanded too much. But it's big, it's a large nozzle, which doesn't require then a deep fit, which again for some people might mean that the earphone will stick out a little bit. In my case, I didn't really find it to be unpleasant or anything of the sort. It was fine. If anything, the weight that they have was the only thing that I found a little bit disconcerting, because you feel them after a while. They don't exactly disappear in your ears or in your head, let's put it that way. It's a single DD, as we know. It's a titanium diaphragm. Apparently it's an upgrade to the Believe. Well, at least that's what kind of rolled around. And it's yet another product that KBear launches this year, following the Neon and the Robin. The Robin I reviewed earlier, so if you guys want to check that review out, have a look. And I basically said that it was a retake of what was already existing, just polishing up a few details here and there, and giving us an interesting IEM priced around $50 to $60, which can compete with the likes of the KZ ZAS and so on. It was a nice, fun, engaging IEM with some flaws, but overall it was a nice, fun, engaging IEM. And the Neon, single BA. To cut a long story short, I didn't review it because I didn't like it, period. That was it. I found, especially the fit, I found it very uncomfortable for me. And maybe because of that, I just didn't enjoy the whole thing. It was just it was just bland for me. But hey, I'm sure that's my opinion, and I'm sure that there are people which enjoyed the neon. On to the Aurora, which is what we want to know and what it's about, and so on and so forth. Construction, quality, and so on. I've touched on that. Signiture. It's a W-shaped signiture, in my opinion. Mid bass, mids, and treble are slightly boosted, with its ups and downs or its pluses and negatives with regards to all of that. What do I mean by this? I mean that the timbre can sometimes be cold, and this then has effects down the line. Having said that, it's got decent tonality, so it's it's a rich timbre, sometimes cold, but with good balanced tonality. The bass is very thumpy, not much in terms of sub bass rumble, but it's got a nice, good bass thump and weight, and it's very, very fun, very engaging. The treble is kind of thickish, and I'll explain that in a minute. No real sibilance to be noticed, but this thickness, or this thickness of the treble then translates into lack of air and lack of sparkle and lack of some detail retrieval capabilities. In separate, the bass, it's fast, as I said, thumpy, a little bit short on extension and thus rumble. There isn't really a very perfect separation between bass and mids, and so it does give it a sense of being overly boosted. It does add, yes, warmth to the male vocals and some instruments like pianos, but the female vocals lack with it. That's at least my opinion. As for the mids, I didn't find them the best or the most refined, but they have an appealing fullness that makes it pleasant, that makes the mids quite pleasant. As I said, the male vocals are very nice, while the female vocals, they lack, they just, I don't know, there's just something there on the female vocals which I wasn't really, they're just too forward, too aggressive at times. And the highs, they are good, but not overextended, or not extended, let's put it that way. And although well done in terms of tonality and timbre, this lack of extension comes at a cost, which is lack of air, and thus it affects instrument separation, it affects brilliance, sparkle, it affects the micro details. So what treble exists is good, but it should have been slightly more extended. Kind of almost what I thought of the melee. The melee's treble is good, it just needs a little bit extra to really make it perfect, and that's where I kind of put the Aurora as well. In terms of the technicalities, resolution, I found it to be average. Soundstage, I found it average width and tallness as well. Nothing spectacular. Imaging, again, I found it not to be the best because of this compression, this overly boosted bass that sometimes exists when we do the transition to the mids. At least I attribute that to that, and the lack of airness. So it kind of makes the imaging a little bit to be desired. As for the comparisons of the Aurora, well, I could have compared them to a whole bunch of IEMs, and I will be doing a comparison of single DDs. I am already doing it. I'll be just finishing up with what I want to say in terms of writing, and then I'll do it. So I kind of took some of the more recent ones and did a more detailed comparison for this review. The T-Force Yuan Li, the Aria, and the HANA 2021. Okay, these are the three ones that I will be comparing with the Aurora today. Let's start with the Yuan Li. it's a warmer V-shaped signature, so harmonish. It's smooth, although slightly dark. I found the timbre to be more natural and more organic on here than there, while on the Aurora it was more grainy. That's it. This is more natural in my opinion. Resolution, better in the Aurora, definitely, although it's not amazing, as I said. It's average. It's better than the Yuan Li. Imaging better in the Yuan Li. Going by the frequencies, bass, I found the bass on the Yuan Li to be warmer, so it's got a little bit more sub bass, but at the same time it's more sloppy, so it doesn't have the attack and the control and the texture that the Aurora's bass has. The mids are more natural on the Yuan Li, and they lack that forwardness that exists, especially the female vocals, and which make the Aurora slightly aggressive. As for treble, it's more present on the Aurora. I mean, the treble on the Yuan Li is there is treble just enough, and it just matches up the rest very nicely. Here it is good. It needs a little bit more to match the rest to be perfect. Let's put it that way. But when we compare the treble with treble, the treble on the Aurora is better. So treble here is better. Mids here are better. The bass are equal. It's just more slam here, more depth, more extension here. So there isn't a clear winner here. I mean, it depends what you like. More harmon tuned or better, or you want more technicality, more. Then yes, I was gonna say more fun. Okay, fine. If you want it to be more fun, more engaging, Aurora. If you want it to be more smooth, more laid back, then the Yuan Li. As for the Aria, and this one, I mean, the price difference here is quite significant. I mean, we're talking about $160, $170 for the Aurora. There has been some sales which they've been around for been available for about 149, if I'm mistaken. The Yuan Li is around 119, 120. The Hanas are about 150, 160, so they are the ones which are probably closest to price to the Aurora. The Arias are the cheapest ones here by a long shot. I mean, I've seen Arias for $65. So, but if they are, yeah, there's a reason, and the reason is very simple. Tonality for me it's better than the Aurora. It's more crisp. It's more clean. It has better sub bass than the Aurora. Timbre is more transparent. Resolution is better in the Aria. Imaging is better in the Aria. Separation is better in the Aria. It's got less slam than the Aurora. Fine, I admit to that, but it's got a better quality bass. The mids might be leaner than the Aurora as well, but they are more coherent. They are more balanced out. They're more detailed. The female vocals sound smooth and they're not aggressive. So, excuse me. You know, it just makes for a more pleasant mids, even though they are leaner, you know, to the mids of as compared to the mids of the Aurora. However, having said all of this, where the biggest difference lies, and mind you, we are talking really small differences that you really have to pay attention, with the exception of one or two things which just jump to your face, like the forwardness of the female vocals. Yeah, the other details I'm talking about here are minor details or minor differences, which, you know, I want you to take this for what it is, and not, oh no, this one is better than that one because he said so. No, it's better, but you really have to pay attention to these differences, okay? But where you do see a big difference, it's in the treble of the Aria as compared to the Aurora. The treble of the Aria as compared to the Aurora, it is more extended. It's more open. There's more air. There's more sparkle. There's more brilliance. And all of this just makes for the micro details and for the overall balance of the Aria throughout the frequency range to be almost perfect. I mean, it is a harmon tuned IM, and it's a well-tuned Harman IM. There's a reason why I've actually got the Starfield here, and there's a reason why a lot of the reviewers have been recommending the Aria over the Starfield, in that it is more balanced out. The soundstage on the Starfield might be better, but the imaging here is second to none. So in summary, the Arias compared to the Aurora, they have the Aurora has more punch, but inferior technicalities to the Aria. And the tonality in the Aria is more crisp, more clean, while on the Aurora it's a warmer tonality. So it again, I wouldn't really say there's a clear winner, although at the end I will say what is my preference. As for the HANA 2021, here we go. How does the HANA stack up? Well, the HANA is basically, to cut a long story short, it's basically a baby Oxygen. And if you guys have watched me and know me, you know how well I praise the Oxygen, and how it is considered not only by me but by other reviewers and prominent ones at that, BGGAR, Michael Bruce, and a few other names. It's considered to be a reference in terms of single DDs. And I think that in a nutshell kind of says it all. The Oxygen is superior to the Aurora. Oxygen, sorry, the HANA 2021 is superior to the Aurora in basically everything, in my opinion. The only area where the Aurora can give the HANA some grief is in the fact that it's more slammy, more punchy, so it will be more engaging, more fun there. Otherwise, the HANA is on a different for me. The HANA is like a more mature Aria. Let's put it that way. It's like a HANA which has the base of the HANA in terms of quality, but more quantity, and then it just improves across the board everything. Vocals here are perfect, timbre, tonality, instrument separation, everything. It's really a really nice IM, and I guess by saying this, you've kind of guessed which is the IM that I like the most out of all of these. It's the HANA. By saying that, I'm not saying that the Aurora is in any way a bad IM. No, far from it. I mean, there was another fellow reviewer that actually said that he compared, or that it reminded him of the tonality of the Blondes, and I have to agree with him. It does. It's got the Auroras. Let me put it to you this way. Okay, let me put it to you this way. When the Blondes came along, they were just too good to be true. Like them, hate them, whatever. They were just too good to be true, and they are a reference in terms of success. That's the truth. Let's be honest about it and say things and call things by their name. They are a reference in terms of what a success story is. And there's just something, even for those of you that might not love it, there's just something that you put on the Blondes and you just like them. You just, okay, it's very nice. It's a very organic. It's the tonality. It's just nice. It's got a nice thumpy bass. It's nice. Not perfect, but it's nice. It costs $30. This, if I was to summarize it, is a grown-up 03, in the sense that it has a shell that fits properly, in a sense that it's, very well constructed, comes with a nice cable, comes with a nice accessories package, and the sound is a more polished up sound than the Blonde. It's got that thump, that's nice thump that the Blonde had, but with better cleanliness. It's more clean, it's more impactful. The Blonde sometimes was a little bit sloppy. The mids, although better in the Blonde, the mids are for some reason engaging as well. Just the female vocals can sound a little bit too forward, and perhaps then a little bit of tip rolling and choosing the proper tip would help. But overall, it's nice mids. where it falls maybe perhaps with regards to the blonde is in the highs in terms of extension. The quality is top notch. It's just the extension that it needed a bit more, and that makes it obviously then lose out in certain aspects. But overall, it's a more technical IEM than the blonde. It's a really well executed IEM, and obviously my congratulations to KBear. This is what I think more products should be. It's this quality of products that should be more the ones that prevail. And so when I prefer the Hana, I don't want in any way to say that this is not an IM that you should consider or not like or not. No, it's just my personal preference is the Hana. This is an amazing IM. I like the Arias as well a hell of a lot. I like the Yuan Lees as well a hell of a lot. They all have their qualities. They all have their particulars. But the Hana I just like it. It just fulfills more. It ticks more boxes for me. And yeah, that's basically it. Hope you liked this little take, although a little bit late, but I hope you enjoyed this little review. And like I said, I will be doing a mega review comparing single DD IMs of various price ranges. I just want to finalize all the write-up to that, and once that is done, I'll make the video and hopefully able to answer some questions and do some placements in terms of what people can buy at different price ranges. All right. Anyway, thank you a lot. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.